Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and ours in particular. My name is Prain, and today I wish to greet you with a simple word: Hail, almighty heroes, because hail is a way to greet someone. But it's also the thing that is falling out of the sky, and just 5-10 minutes ago, it was falling outside right my window. So everything is good, everything is nice, but you know, when ice is falling out of the sky, that's not the frozen kind of vibe that I want to see in autumn, I suppose. But yeah, it is what it is. So welcome everyone. I hope the weather is nice for you guys. And I hope you are enjoying this week. We are halfway through the week, so yes, yay! We're surviving. We're surviving. Only a couple more days till the weekend. We're gonna survive it, I assure you. So yeah, let's brace ourselves for tonight's stream. Let's brace ourselves for the upcoming 2 days before the weekend hits. And yes, welcome everyone. Hello, how are you doing? And also a drink, right? Starting from a drink. That's a good one. That's a good one, Sarah. Thank you very much. Also, congratulations to Sarah for being first here tonight. You know, usually it is Kalapati who is redeeming this golden feather. One per stream redeem. But this time Sarah was like swooping in and it's like, no way. You couldn't believe, right? You couldn't believe that, Sarah, that you were before Kala here. But Kala is also here. Welcome, welcome both of you. And also Almario, also near model. Hello everyone. I hope you are doing well, everyone. I'm gonna get it next stream for sure. Next stream tomorrow, Star Wars Outlaws. Kilashe is here. Hey, great to see you here. It's not Cult of the Lamb today, but it is Baldur's Gate 2. So a bit different game, but I hope you enjoy. How are you doing, Kila? Also, I would like to take this moment to thank you guys for being here right from the start. I think from my perspective, from a streamer's perspective, it's most gratifying to see people at the very beginning of the stream because I know I can just share my energy right from the start because there are people out there. And right at the end, when I'm wrapping things up, and the people are like, "Oh, thank you for the stream. It was nice. Good night. Have a nice night. Go get some rest, mate." All those things that you're kind enough to always write. Those are the two defining moments for me. But yeah, of course, middle is also important. So yeah, let's check out what's gonna be happening in the middle. I'm doing okay. It's nothing near feeling like fall here, so I'm a little jealous of your cooler weather. Yeah, like I said, we had just 10 minutes ago there was a little hail dropping from the sky, and raining, hailing, and just this smell of rain that was very like very nice, very nice. So yeah, I feel refreshed, I feel alive, and I feel like playing some Baldur's Gate 2 tonight. So we're gonna see how it goes. Reshka is here. Hello, Reshka. Also, Seraph redeemed something to eat, right? So I have to get a snack right from the start. And what is the snack tonight? The snack tonight is one and only Reshka's gem. I still have it. So yeah, Reshka, today we feast on your jam, raspberry jam, as it is. So thank you very much for the redeem, Seraph. And let's have some of this wonderful snack. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be a good ASMR, food streamer, whatever. So I'm just gonna munch it away. Alright, good snack. You still have it? Wow, yes, I still have it, but I've run out of zucchini, right? I no longer have zucchini. I cooked them as a stuffed zucchini. I cooked this as a lecho, and right now I have non-zucchini. 0. Alright. It is 88 degrees here, but with humidity it feels like 101. Yeah, the humidity is a problem, right? Because when I was in Egypt earlier this year, the temperature was like 38, 39, 30, 40 degrees Celsius, and it was actually bearable because it was super dry, right? It was actually super dry. So it was better than going back to Poland to 30, but the high level of humidity that is like hard to breathe, So yeah, so that's the main enemy, I think. I'm only left with pumpkin. Reshka is saying yes. I mean, was it a good season, Reshka, when it comes to making food, getting food out of your garden? Those things called vegetables, whatever. Was it a good season this year? I think it was a good season because instead of bringing me 1 zucchini, you brought me 4. So it must have been decent, right? Yeah. All right, what else is here? Sarah was asking if Kala has 4 or 5 golden feathers. I think 5. It may be 5. It may be 5. Right now, I only can check it when you redeem. The bot will show the exact number. I have no other ways of checking that. I should work on that, I suppose. Yeah. It's now season for paprika and pumpkin here. Yes. Yes. It was good. The season was good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, thanks to you, I could eat some stuff, which is very important. Guys, I hope you're gonna eat something tonight. Nice. Get something nice. Cook something nice. If you like cooking, cook yourself something. If you're rather a person who orders food, just order something nice. Something cool. And we're gonna go into the game. So yeah. Where is this cable coming from? Okay, that's the cable coming from. Game. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Baldur's Gate 2, of course. Welcome in. We are playing this. I'm playing this for the first time. And it has been a while. I mean, 1 week. Precisely since the last stream. Oh, in the last stream, we have reached this wonderful place called Trademeet. This lovely village/city. In which we helped some people. There was a problem with animals attacking the city. The druids were to blame, but not really. Actually, there was only one druid that was kind of evil. We punched her in the face, and we saved everyone, basically. There was also a matter of some, two families. There was a Ali Bakr family and the Luraxol family, and they were like, yo, it is my family who started this city. Bring me the proof from the nearby crypt. And we were like, okay, we're gonna bring you that. But there was one cool dude, the mayor, and he was like very kind, very polite. He threw a feast in our honor after we saved the city from the druids, from the animals, and we were like, yeah, screw those guys and screw those guys. We'll bringing the proof straight to you, so that no problem will arise. Of course, they got mad at us, but yeah, it is what it is, right? Last but not least, we helped some guy called Tiris, and to resolve the quest of a tanner that we found in the Bridge district in the city of Atkatla. That was about the some gruesome murder stuff that they were just skinning people alive or not alive. There was this creature like a corpse stealer, no, skin stealer, or whatever the name was, something like this. So yeah. That was this. Investigating the deaths in the Umar Hills. Yeah, that's today. That's today. That's today's quest because we have this. Let me just check. Like to give you a map of the world map, right? Atkatla is the city in which the game starts, kind of, and we are currently in Trademeet. So I figure out before we go back here, we can visit Umar Hills. Apparently, there's Umar Hills and then another location. Nighty told me. So it will be our primary place of concern for the next couple of hours, I suppose. We're gonna go there. And yeah, the quest is... We have gotten this quest at some point. I think it was right here. Yeah, investigate the deaths in Umar Hills. It says... Delon was sent to find aid for the village of Immensvale in the Umar Hills. Apparently, people are disappearing in large numbers, and it is not certain what is the cause. I am to speak with the village mayor, Minister Lloyd Wainwright. That's the plan. That's the plan. We're gonna go there. You're saying, show us the book. Yeah, okay. Yesterday was the official release of the Dungeons and Dragons Players Handbook, 5th edition, 2024. Print, and actually, it is in my next room, still wrapped up. And not unpacked, because I was afraid that if I start reading it, the 388 pages I think it is, I'm just gonna not sit down to the stream. So D&D 5.5, it is kind of 5.5. Yeah, they are heavily avoiding calling it the 5.5 because they really wanted to avoid what happened between the 3rd edition and 3.5. Where people, like, community got fragmented a little bit. Some people were like, okay, 3.0 is the original, we play this, 3.5 is the new one, we play this. And that created confusion. They wanted to avoid it. They really wanted to avoid it by first pitching the 1D&D brand, kind of, as a name. But then there was some, PR problem that they faced. And 1D&D was no longer a valid brand for them to market their new book under. So they started calling this edition like Dungeons and Dragons 2024, Players Handbook 2024, kind of like this, because it's 10 years after the original Players Handbook. And yeah, I think like we all know that is a kind of a, I don't know, today in the gaming terms we would say it's a DLC maybe, or like a refresh reboot, not even a refresh reboot, like a remake of the original Player's Handbook. It is good. Unboxing stream? Yes, unboxing. Okay, we're gonna do unboxing stream. So give me a moment. I'm gonna bring stuff. In the meantime, please enjoy the chair. All right, I'm here. So there's the box. Like this. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm just gonna open it. I suppose this. Yeah, I haven't ordered anything else, so it must be the D&D handbook. I'm gonna just try to unbox it in a way so that you guys can see something. I don't even know how to do it. I won't be changing the camera placement, but how about, oh, maybe I can do it like this. I'm gonna put it on the side. No, chat here. I'm gonna put it like this, right? And now you can see me unbox it, and I can still do it in a very safe way. What's new in this 5.5e then compared to 5? The idea was that they wanted to, well, probably make more money, right? During the reprint, that's one thing. But also to streamline certain things and make it easier for new players to approach the game. And also, like, balance certain things that were, unbalanced in the 5th edition in general. So it's not like, it's like some classes got reworked, when it comes to things that they got on certain levels, the buffs or the skills that they get on certain levels. It was moved around. One example that off the top of my head I could give is that the classes used to get their subclasses at level 2 or 3 usually. Now every subclass gets every class gets their subclass at level 3, for example. They got rid of half elves, and half orcs, for example. They changed the name of. They decided that races is no longer an appropriate term to describe elves, dwarves, and everything like this. They instead went with species for this edition. So yeah, some changes all around. Yeah. All right. Let's see. That's the box. And that's the process of unlocking. Is it still a nightmare for GMs? Depending how you look at it, right? I have been GMing in the 3rd edition, 3.5, and in the 5th edition, and I enjoy GMing in 4th edition, right? I'm sorry, what? I'm not sure to which part of my sentence you're referring. So yeah, all right, there it is. There's the book. Player's Handbook. Player's Handbook. Go away. Cardboard. Half elves and half orcs were removed because inappropriate. No, they were removed, but the exact reason, I'm not sure what was the exact reason. I think there is a. I don't think there. I think there is some statement, why they removed it. And to be honest, I really don't mind the lack of half elves and half orcs, because it always was bugging me. If there are half elves, why there aren't half dwarves, right? Why there aren't half gnomes? So, in that, if you think it like this, maybe removing half races was a good idea. Mechanically, half elves were a bit OP as well. That was maybe like a mechanic problem. And I think that if you want to play a brutish kind of race, such as in half orc, you might as well go full orc. Like, what's the difference between half orc and orc really? If you really want to go into this character, this kind of character. All right, just open this thing here. Just careful, I don't want to destroy it. I'm so excited. This is the second time I'm unboxing something on the stream. Actually, the first time was unboxing the collector's edition of Baldur's Gate 3. That was my first Baldur's Gate 3 stream on this channel as well in October 2023, I think. So, yeah. What happens with every half-elf existing before that edition? No, okay, it's not like the half-elves don't exist anymore. It's just they are not a playable race, technically, in terms of mechanics. You can still say that your character is a half-elf and half any kind of race. The rule in this edition is like, if I am a half-elf, I have to choose my gameplay-related traits from either the elf stat block or the human stat block. You know, there is no mixing those. You choose this one, you choose one or the other, and then you know, all that's making you half elfy. For example, you know, not super pointy ears, but a little bit less, you know, more rounded or less pointy. Everything that on the top of that is flavor. So functionally, the idea is that you can technically be any half race right now, including, for example, half dwarf. You know, but you have to choose one set of like traits or another. All right. Add it to the title. Be professional streamer. No, come on. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just showing the book. I mean, all right. That's the edition. That's the Dungeons and Dragons Players Handbook 2024 edition. Yeah. It's. I'm still thinking of speaking about what Nirmolo is saying. I'm still thinking of a way to introduce Dungeons and Dragons as a stream thing I'm doing, you know, because this is probably something very close to my heart. You can see how it looks differently. If you look right now, you can see on the back at my shelf, like here, no, not here, here-ish, right? Those are the books from the 5th edition, and as you can see, they opted for a different coloring, right? So now it's not black and red; it's red and black, kind of. So it's not gonna match apparently. But that's okay, and yeah, like what else is new? You know, so how do I do it so that you guys can see it? Hey guys, is it like what's the legality of showing, you know, content like this on stream, right? If I were to take a Harry Potter book and read it to you, right? It's probably not the intended way, right? Compare. It's thick book, more than 5. Yeah, okay, let's compare. That's actually I can do. Yeah. So if they're next to each other, you can see that the newer one is bigger. Reading the whole book out loud, I expect it's slightly illegal, right? Okay, so if I say that I'm reviewing this book right now, can I just, you know, point the camera at it and showcase you guys? Maybe I can do something, you know. Maybe we can just spend a little bit. But then it's Wizard goes. There's the law for quotes, so you probably could read some, but not all. Okay, yeah, it is 388 pages, I believe, right? So, okay, now we have to do it. Now we have to just arrange the stream setup, and instead of playing Baldur's Gate 2 as intended, we'll be just, you know, quickly checking the new D&D book. Why not? It's actually very gorgeous, you know, when it comes to art. So it may be interesting to you guys. Let's just see what can I actually do to make it happen, right? I'm just gonna have to move the camera a bit. Oh, and it's gonna be upside down. Okay, it's gonna be upside down for me, but title. Okay, god damn it. I should. No, you as a mod. Can mods change the title of the stream? Okay, maybe that's a question for another day. Okay, let's update the title so that we know what is happening. What is happening here? All right. So before, let's do it like checking out players handbook. Okay, that's all caps. No, I don't want that. Checking out players handbook 2024, then BG2. All right, let's do it like this. Done. Okay. All right, maybe, but not okay. On the app, probably not. Checking out player handbook 2024, then BG2. All right, I suppose I can stay in this category, right? It doesn't make sense to change to Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, let's be cool. Let's be cool. Actually check it. Actually changes to. There is a category Dungeons and Dragons, right? Yeah, there is. Okay. Unboxing? Okay, unboxing then. Alright, it's gonna be a long stream today. Unboxing. Now it's working. Unboxing Player's Handbook 2024, then BG2. Okay, I should have. I didn't. Unboxing is a fun word? Yes, because it includes the word box, and cats love boxes, so that makes sense why you love it so much, Nirmal. Alright. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to actually have this with me tonight. I was prepared to wait a couple more days, so yeah. Now Wizard of the Coast, please sponsor. Yep. Good one. Let me just try to do some setup here. No, don't ask Wizards. They'll ask for money. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. I can do this. I can do this. There was a song, right? That was from Hasbin. I can do this. Well, a lifetime chance. All right, we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna try to grab the focus somehow. All right, we have the focus, and now we're gonna do a little trick in the talking segment here. So we're gonna rotate this, and you guys gonna see it properly. Transform, rotate, transform, rotate. All right, now we have something. Do you have any books from previous editions on only 5e? I do have. Wait. Okay, maybe. Can I put it higher somehow? I think I can. I have the third edition, right? I have the third edition. I gave the 3.5 books to my cousin actually, so that he can also enjoy some D&D. I'm not sure if he ever did, but you know, I already had a lot of those. Oh my goodness! Now we can see everything. Hello? Maybe that's more interesting than me. Okay. All right. Now we see a bit more. Now we see a bit more. So yeah, I can also bring out the old ones. So yeah, podręcznik gracza. Learn Polish with brain. This is podręcznik gracza, which means player's handbook in Polish. Actually, the third edition and 3.5 were translated into Polish, were localized. The further editions were not, right? So that's the last one we kind of had. But you can see how old it is. It is actually here with some tape. It's actually falling apart. That's why you know that it's an oldie. It's a goodie. And it has been used a lot, right? It has been used a lot because that's what started my journey into D&D. And that is well, at this point, I think I started. Wait, how old I am? I'm 33, right? And I think I started in primary school. That must have been what, 11, 8, yeah, like 11. Yeah, so probably like 20 years old. Do you have scene without screen preview? Without the thing on the left corner? I can just hide it. That's true, I can just hide it. This is gonna be... Actually, we can actually do it like this. We can hide the chat. Can we? Oh, we can hide the chat. We're gonna have some more space. That's gonna be good, right? And we can also hide this. All right. So yeah, I guess that's more relevant right now. Yeah, also the coaster with a owl. Cool, right? So yeah. So let's check out some D&D. So the older D&D book, you know, this is what started it all, pretty much. I remember that when you were a kid, it's not easy to get your hand on all the books that are necessary to play. And, you know, it's the big three. For those of you who don't know, there are usually 3 books in D&D that are kind of needed to play. I mean, if you want to lead the game, because if you're a player, you're good with just Player's Handbook. If you are a dungeon master, you probably want to have the Dungeon Master's Guide because there's like magic item descriptions and some other stuff, or some world building tips, etc. And the monster manual that is covering the stat blocks of all the monsters. So when you're a kid, you can't actually afford everything. So I remember it was like, okay, so my friend who actually got me into D&D, his name was Milosh, and he was like, okay, so I have this because my mom bought me this. So if you're gonna be buying something, Brain, he was like, you can take the Monster Manual, or like Dungeons Master Guide, because Przemek is taking another friend, because Przemek is taking the third book, right? So we're gonna have them all, right? It was expensive when we were kids. Yes, it was expensive in your model, and like I said, D&D and Magic the Gathering were two hobbies that actually saved me from spending any money on Warhammer, figures and everything. So at least I didn't go that far. But yeah, it is still expensive. Well, it is what it is, right? Every hobby is to a certain level expensive. So yeah, the old player's handbook, the 2020 to 2014 edition, is ranging at 316 pages. Okay, it's not a great setup, but I can't have anything better. It's 316 pages, and this one is boasting a little bit more. I think this one is 384. 384. And what I would like to do, actually, I would like to align my camera a bit so that it's not silly, and just go. I think it's perfectly legal to just leaf over and check out the book like this. We're not gonna be reading too much, but the art is very good. So the first chapter is about playing the game, right? This is different from the older books because the older books did not have that much. It started with the older book started with the character creation, and then it went to the races and classes. But this book aims to be more player friendly, I believe, the new player friendly, and it's explaining everything about the dice, about what is the campaign, what is the adventure. It's explaining the mechanics and everything. So I think it's doing a better job at introducing new people to D&D, and it also features very cool art, which we're gonna see later. There are examples for social interaction. There are examples for combat, exploration, everything. So yeah, those are those. That's the first chapter. And it's actually it's actually an actual chapter, right? It's not a couple of pages to just some. It's riding a giant seahorse. How awesome is that? It's a paladin adventure underwater. Wow. All right, seahorse, a paladin and a seahorse. That's not something I have seen yet. And yeah, it's actually I think it's doing a really good job of showing how it works. How the game is being played. And only then, after those 30 pages of introduction, do we get the create your character chapter. And what is interesting is that there is a step one: choose a class. It's actually listing all the 12 classes that are available. Unfortunately, Artificer, that is one of the beloved classes that was introduced in Eberron campaigns, did not make it to the core game. But what's interesting is that there is like complexity, like like in MMO games, sometimes you choose a character and the game is telling you if that character is very complex or very easy to play for newcomers, which can be a little tip. And just an interesting thing, there are two classes that are considered low complexity, and it's a fighter and a rogue, actually. And there are 4 classes that are considered high complexity: a bard, a druid, a sorcerer, and a warlock. So yeah. But let that never deter you from actually choosing the class that you want when you're playing D&D. If you're interested in playing D&D, just jump into a class that you want. What about wizards? Wizards are actually listed as average. They're as of average complexity. So that's interesting. I think I agree that they are easier than sorcerer because sorcerer has the sorcery points and basically has another resource. Kind of wizards don't have that. So yeah. So this is a bit different. But yeah, this is something that may help someone. But never let any advice like this deter you from choosing a character that you want to play. Because I know that my first character was supposed to be a druid. Druid actually is here high complexity, by the way. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a druid. Can I be a druid? And one of our friends, aforementioned Milos, was like, no, you shouldn't be a druid because Przemek's sister, she will be playing a druid, right? That sister never played with us, right? And I couldn't create my druid, so I was never. I had a chance. I had a chance to become one with nature at one point, but I was denied that chance because we were like, no, someone else will be claiming a druid. You shouldn't take the same class, right? so yeah, that's why my first character, a sorcerer, half elf sorcerer called Ivelios, I think that was the name of my first character, came to life. It was a terrible character because it had 9 in Constitution score. Constitution is the attribute that refers to your hit points. That tells you how many hit points you get. And because it was 9, it was below 10, so it was a negative modifier, -1. So that means on the first level, I did not have 4 hit points, but 3 hit points, which is less than the average goblin. So that wasn't a great, combat experience for me. But yeah, I guess the question is, are wizards still OP? Yeah, like they never will not be OP, I suppose. The spells that you get are of course always very cool, and who doesn't like fireball, right? But it's I think they're also trying to make the melee classes better in this edition. I personally never was paying attention to like what's OP, what's not OP, what's like performing really well, or like in terms of builds or something like this, because I'm here for the adventure, right? I am here for the adventure, so I either as a GM I don't care, really, because I know that if something is overperforming, I can just send stronger monsters, and that's not a problem. If something is underperforming, I can balance it out and just send something smaller maybe at the players. And if I'm a player, I am actually, really into making those builds that are not super optimized because I want to tell an interesting story with them. In the 3rd edition, my greatest idea that I had, but I couldn't really get to for whatever reason, was that playing a dwarf paladin. That was after I had some experiences with Warcraft 3, and I was like, yeah, dwarf paladins, this could be cool. But the dwarves in the 3rd edition had +2 constitution, but -2 to charisma. And charisma was important for paladins as an attribute, so it was like, checking things from a different perspective. I will have this -2 at the start, but that's not what my character is, So yeah. And there's like a new character sheet, of course. I think they redesigned it a little bit compared to the older edition. So one of the more popular choices when it comes to putting skills next to the attributes here rather than listing them alphabetically. I think for comparison we can show here. Yeah, for comparison, there's a character sheet from the 2014 edition, and all the skills are listed like this, like here. So it was kind of tricky to navigate those cards. So yeah, it's a new one. It's a fresh one, I suppose, different one. Mechanically, you had a penalty, but also good flavor for your character. Yeah, you're a dwarf paladin. Go against the grain. It's actually interesting start for a character. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Going against the grain, going against what you would think is optimal, or just trying something new. It's the same like with a halfling barbarian, right? You would think that the barbarian would be best as a human, as a orc, half orc, or as maybe even a dwarf, right? Because punching stuff and everything. But then you have this like small dude who is very angry and shouting at people, and it's a halfling barbarian, right? So yeah, now they're telling you how to adjust your personality traits, gaining a level. That's also good. Trinkets. Okay, actually, this is a fun game. So, trinkets. When you make a character, you can roll once on the trinket table to gain a tiny trinket, a simple item lightly touched by mystery. So, if you want to roll a d100, I think you should be able to roll. I'm gonna read you what kind of trinket you would get if you want to roll for a trinket. It's gonna be like, I think I implemented d100, right? Yeah, I have. Okay, and your model has 87. So in your model, your trinket for this stream is an iron holy symbol devoted to an unknown god. Seraph, 79. According to this book, an invitation to a party when a murder happened. So congratulations, we are going to Umar Hills. There may be murderers there. Okay, Reshka has 74. Oh, sorry, Kalapati 75. Kalapati 75. A set of bone pipes. That's 75. Okay, musician. I like it. And Tureshka has 74. a fan that, when unfolded, shows a sleepy cat. Oh, that's actually really cool. A fan, when unfolded, shows a sleepy cat. A fan, like, this thingy to combat the hot weather. And Almaril has 36. What do you have, Almaril? A vest with 100 tiny pockets. Perfect for a thief, I suppose, or a scoundrel. I'm the music to the party. Okay. See, and this is how D&D is meant to be played. Kalapati and Seraph. The players can the dungeon master is creating a story, telling the story, but the other players can influence that. And what you just did, Kalapati, was a classic D&D thing. So Seraph learned that he has an invitation to a party, and Kalpati joined that because she has a set of bone pipes, and she's like, "I'm the music to the party," and that's how D&D is being made. I did D&D. Yes, yes, you did D&D, and like I'm saying, because D&D is something that is a huge part of my life. You saw the background. You saw the background, and how many books I have, and how often I play Baldur's Gate 3. I play those games. So I'm constantly thinking how to bring D&D into Twitch in a way that could be engaging for the audience. I haven't found a way yet, but we're gonna get there. And Gulheru, you're also welcome, Gulheru. Hello. We're just unboxing. The 76 on this list is a 4-leaf clover pressed inside a book discussing manners and etiquette. Very, very nice. Very nice. Not only you have a book discussing manners and etiquette, as we know from a certain movie, Manners Maketh Men, you also have a 4-leaf clover. So that's good. And you can when on the character creation chapter here, you get plenty of those tables that can help you create your character. For example, if you have, for example, let's say we're rolling some sort of a paladin, right? So we have high charisma on the paladin, and there's like a little table that wasn't in the previous editions. It's here to help you determine your personality. So you can roll a d4 to get like a charming, commanding, hilarious, or inspiring. Those are all adjectives that explain the high charisma character, I suppose. And I think that for those for like new players who are just trying to find, or just for all players who are trying to find inspiration, this can be very helpful to roll their character. That sounds perfect. I'll take it. Trickster very own trinket. Yes, that's very nice. I love the Kingsman. Yes, the first Kingsman was a masterpiece. It was a very enjoyable movie, very very fun movie. Okay, multi-classing trinkets we covered. So that's the first chapter, and then we're going to do like very nice art in everywhere. Character classes. So every character class, actually, I'm gonna show it like this, maybe to showcase to you. Okay, it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna showcase it like this. Can I make it happen somehow? Yeah. What I wanted to say is like a full page art of a barbarian, right? Every class will have one of those. So a full page introduction to a class. It's like really showing you what this class is all about. In this case, we have a female Goliath, from what I can see, standing in the jaws of a dragon or some Tarask or something like this. And there's like a short tagline: a fierce warrior of primal rage for the barbarian. So it's actually really nice that they put it here. Compared to the old edition, if you go to the Player's Handbook 2014, like for example, if you go to Barbarian at the start, right, it is still here, but it's like a half a page picture. It's half a page picture and then goes into text. So having this here on the full page is actually really really interesting for me. And of course, the class is being explained with all the tables, all the skills that you get. But what caught my attention is that every class have subclasses, right? And actually, in this book, every subclass have their unique like a picture. So if you are, for example, a berserker, this can inspire you to roll a berserker. And I think that it is very nice, because sometimes when you want to create a character, you sometimes get inspired by the pictures, by the images that you see on the internet. You found a nice picture on Pinterest, and it's depicting some sort of a paladin character, and then you're like, oh, this is very nice. I want to roll as this character. I want to actually create this character. So yeah. Wildcard, yeah, there is a wildcard barbarian. Yeah, I'm gonna just go over those so that you can see some of those beautiful flamboyant bard. In the bard chapter. Those chapters, like this chapter and the classes pages, are made in the very neat way. I think everything is condensed here. They also moved the spell lists kind of into the classes chapter, right? Previously, there it wasn't like this. Previously, if you wanted to check out what kind of spells do you have, you would go to chapter 11. So way after you created your character, and there was a list of bard spells, cleric spells, and so on. And now they actually change it so that when you are creating a character, you have those spells here. You don't need to go back and forth when you are choosing your spells. So I think this is neat, especially since they also marked if particular spell requires concentration or not. For those of you who don't know D&D, concentration is like a feature of a spell that you need to concentrate on it for it to be active. And you can be only concentrating on a single spell at the time. So this is actually helping probably to get to know what kind of spells you can have as a like a simple cast and on which you should concentrate. And yes, I think this one is by far my favorite so far. As you can see, this is a College of Glamour bard. Look, it is a fantasy world, right? But this is very like rock vibes for me, I think. And this is still a bard playing a lute. So yeah, very cool arts. Like a lot of arts. Like I'm saying, those every single class, every single subclass have this particular art associated with that. Like, look at this. College of Valor. It's beautiful. It's a dragonborn wielding a I think it's a rapier maybe, or a sword, and a shield. And look at, like, I love the pinkish colors here. It's gorgeous. So yeah, what else we have? I'm just gonna go over some of those. So cleric. Cleric is my favorite class because after I have created Ivelios, the aforementioned half-elf sorcerer that really didn't live that long. I suppose we then rolled new characters for our campaign. I created my first like real character. His name was Aramil Quatarilos, and he was a cleric fighter actually. That was a combination. Oh, look, animals! They're pets here because it's druid chapter. They went all out with the art, so vibrant and full of energy. That's true. There's a lot of them. I think I was talking to Nighty about the fact that when they first released some on Twitter, probably they did a sneak peek or something like this. The claim was like, oh, you went with all those like super saturated colors and very bright and very like fun or something, and you didn't go with anything darker. But there are some maybe darker ones as well. See Circle of the Stars subclass, in this one. And there's a fighter. All the fighters, battle masters, champions. Oh, is that not like Bloodborne hat or something like this? It's actually Eldritch Knight, but it looks like... What was the character's name from Bloodborne? What's your favorite cleric setup? So in my case, my cleric in 2014 that I created, it was actually Death Domain. It was the cleric of Kelemvor. She was named Beatrix, and she was actually the granddaughter of the Aramil character that I mentioned. So yeah, it runs with the family, I suppose. So that was my cleric. I wanted to go and create a little bit, not the darker maybe, but not the classical healer cleric. Just do something else. But lately, and especially after Baldur's Gate 3, I'm really into light clerics. I think light cleric is a really nice class. And there was also Twilight Cleric that is not in this book in particular, but it was, I think, in Tasha. I think it was in Tasha. So that was also one that would interesting. Lady Maria, the hunter or hunter, a Pursman, Lady Maria. I don't know. Maybe like this. Maybe like this. All right. What else do we have here? Psy warriors. Oh, that's also important. That there's a Psy warrior here. You know, for those of you who don't know, there is magic in the world, but there's also psionic. You know, psionic, psi powers and everything like this. So all the mind stuff, you know, telekinesis and just using using the power of your mind to move objects and everything. So this is the first time that psionic is actually within the core book, right? In the Player's Handbook 2014, there wasn't any psionic options in the book. They were added later in some other source books. I think again it was Tasha or something else. So now the psionics are being bring back here. There was a problem, I think, at some point, because when they were designing the third edition psionics, it was really wacky at some point. Prain will be the cleric of the group. You know what? I am usually always a cleric of the group, or some sort of a healer, supporter. You know, even when I was playing Guild Wars 2, I was playing Guardian, and as a Guardian, I was supposed to do heal and do buffs for my raid party, right? So that was that's something in which that's a role in which I find myself. If I'm playing, if I was playing Overwatch, for example, I would go for mercy, you know, to heal people, because that's also a thing that I enjoy, you know. And yeah, and this Friday, when I'll be playing Valorant following Burbzilla's request, I'll be playing this lady that is healing. I think I don't remember her name, but I will play her. All right, those are some paladins. Oh, look at this! Oath of Vengeance, very dark, very vengeance, much anger or something. Wow. Sage, thank you, Seraph. That's I'm gonna be playing Sage. The goal for Friday stream is actually to have one single kill. And if I'm gonna get a one single kill in Valorant over 4 hours, I'm gonna be the best player in the world. That's the plan. We're gonna see. Much edge? Yeah, there was much edge to this one. There is a Fey Wanderer. Look at this fancy hat. Yeah, that's a good one. It also looks like some teeth. He must be an orc, right? An orc Fey Wanderer. That's an interesting combination. But the hat is what's important here. All right. What else? Some Gloomstalkers. We are at the Ranger chapter. So yeah, a lot of pages covering those. A lot of pictures are covering those pages, and you can really get inspired, I suppose, right? I mean, comparing to the old one, right? If I go to let's say a rogue in the old one, I get the I get the rogue one here, right? But I don't get any more pictures of the rogue, what kind of rogue can be, even though I have the archetypes here, so subclasses, thief, assassin, arcane trickster. I don't get to like see actually what it is. I can read about it, of course, and I can imagine this, of course, but seeing is believing, right? So this is something that we can see here. The arcane trickster is being featured here. You know, this roguish character that is using Mage's Hand, and now we can already see it here. King of Scotland, Macbeth. Hello, welcome to the chat. By the way, which class do you hate most? I'm not sure if I would say that I hate any class in particular. There are some classes that I haven't played yet, even in my long D&D career. I think it's gonna be easier if I say which ones I played or enjoyed, and that will be cleric, paladin, wizard, sorcerer, fighter. I think like barbarian. I never really had a chance to play a proper barbarian. I didn't really get into this Mythos of Rage, you know, kind of. So barbarian would be the least picked one for me, I think. Although, you know, after playing BG3 and doing Enrage Throw at Carla, that saved my life so many times. I can actually maybe change my mind on this one, but I would say that Barbarian is one of the least favorite. And it's Druid, because I haven't particularly played it yet. You know, I mentioned that I was supposed to create a Druid at the third edition when we started playing with my friends, but I never created it actually. And I'm still waiting for Near Model to run her campaign, in which I'm gonna be playing a Druid. So yeah, it's gonna probably take a moment. But yes, welcome to the chat and welcome all. For those of you who are joining, I am Prain. I play RPGs, and today is supposed to be Baldur's Gate 2, and it will be Baldur's Gate 2. But given that yesterday was the launch of the Player's Handbook 2024, I figured I'm gonna go over the pages and showcase some art of this and share my first impressions. You play Druid? Oh, which specialization of Druid? Which circle you prefer? There's another fantastic, fabulous art, sorcerer. And a tiefling, right? And a tiefling no less, I think. She's purple, right? So she must be a tiefling. Maybe it's not a tiefling. But wonderful hair. And everything here is like a dazzling mage filled with innate magic. That's a tagline here. Don't really have a preference? Alright, that's good. That's good. So you're all over, all around druid expert. That's good. That's good. All right, so the book is showcasing us all those classes. Wow. Okay. Alert for, I don't know, for people who are into husbandos. I guess he's very handsome. This guy. I'm not sure myself. I would probably go on a date with that sorcerer lady before, but this is draconic sorcery subclass, and it's depicted by a scantily clad, handsome dude, I suppose, right? Calapat is like, hello, sailor. Yes. You know what? That's the guy that is. Draconic sorcery. Apparently very very handsome. Yeah, if you are a draconic sorcerer, you must be handsome. Yeah, it's decided. All right, what else? Oh, and this is interesting. This is actually the sorcerer Delina, and this character is from I believe the comic book Murder at Baldur's Gate. I think that was the comic book. That there's this story of I think Minsk that is getting unstoned, and she's also a Magic the Gathering card. Wild Magic, yes. The way I sat up when you talked about him, Kapati, just for you once again. I can, even closer, just for you, so you can have this wonderful memory. Please, okay, it's not focusing right. I'm sorry, but yeah, please make as many screenshots as you want right now. So yeah, so this is it. The close up, yeah. All right, what else we have here? And there's a warlock. All right, a warlock actually really fun art. If you look closely, warlock is someone type of a spellcaster that gained their power via working with some sort of a patron. Either the powerful demon or a devil or some fake creature. And I like that there's a dude behind him, right? Presumably his patron that is giving him power. He's very happy. He's very happy here. All right. So warlocks. What kind of warlocks do we have? Yeah, some warlocks are here. Spells for warlocks and subclasses. Oh, hello. All right. Archfey Patron subclass. That's a really pretty one. Definitely caught my attention. And there's a fiend. Yeah, the devil behind the character here. Thank you, Pren. You're welcome. Oh, is their type of devotion similar to paladins to their deity? Yeah, when it comes to warlocks, it's different, right? The warlocks are all about making a pact. You make a pact with some sort of a extraterrestrial creature, shall we say, and they grant you power. So the idea is that, I don't know, you're a dude, and you just found a book with a ritual that says call 1-800-devil. And you're just calling this number, and he's like, oh, good evening, this is Devil, and how may I serve you today? And you're like, oh my goodness, I want to save my village because there are orcs attacking us. Can you do something? And he's like, yes, of course, you will be my warlock. I'm gonna give you power, but in return, I demand your soul, or something like this, or something else. And actually, it's really cool when a player has a warlock character, right, in the D&D, in the tabletop, because that opens options for the DM to actually roleplay the warlock's patron, and just have some interaction. And this can be, I just mentioned the classic one, right? You give me power, and I give you soul. That's a very, very typical one, I suppose, for warlocks. But there can be all other sorts of stuff, right? Maybe, I really don't want to use that term, but it is a term that is that is often used in association with warlock. Maybe you want the sugar daddy, right? That is giving you powers, and you are his or her good girl or good boy, right? And that's the idea of a warlock in D&D as well. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, give me soul, I give you power. It can be like, hello, how about I burn that village in your name, and you're gonna buy me a new cloak? And the warlock's patron is like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That's super cool. 1-800 devil. Yeah, yeah. Wizard. There's a wizard. Surrounded with books. All right, that's a good take on a wizard. She's surrounded by books, and I believe. Wait, is that the? Okay, maybe it's the random art, or maybe it's the current wielder of the black stuff. There is the current. After Kelban, there's a couple of others, and I think she was like this. So wizard, a very classical character. Lots of spells, like 4 pages of spells. And subclasses. Okay, so there's a difference here that I can change. Wait, Kelban black stuff is no more. If you go to black stuff on like I think that between editions, the title of black stuff has been passed to someone else, to some new characters, so that they could utilize those new characters in Newer's edition rather than have Kelban all the time. I think that's the idea. But what I wanted to comment here is that in the old player handbook, if you go to a wizard, for example, you will see that there are all sorts of. Oh, that's the wrong direction. There are all sorts of schools of magic for the wizard, right? So those are called arcane traditions. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Appreciate it. And also, I believe that's 120. Thank you very much, guys. I did not expect this to be here today with the D&D book, but yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So about wizards, there was School of Conjuration, Divination, Enchantment, Evocation. So all the schools of magic that are included: illusion, necromancy, transmutation, and that meant that a single class technically had 8 or something subclasses, right? In this new edition, and compared to the fighter, for example, which in the base game had 3 subclasses, right? So it's a bit different. In this edition of the player's handbook, they decided to cut it out, to balance it out, so that every class has 4 available subclasses. All right. So, for example, wizard subclasses are Abjurer, Diviner, Evoker, and Illusionist. Also, Hello Sailor here. Very, very also handsome dude. I'm gonna leave it here as I'm talking. So it's important to remember that even if your particular subclass is not in this book, the idea is that you can still use the content from the old book. It's not that this is replacing everything from the old book. You can actually work it around. The idea would be, let's say I want to play a necromancer, right? There is no necromancer as a subclass in this book. There is, of course, the base wizard stuff that you have. So if I were to create a necromancer by those new rules, I would go with this table of wizard features. But whenever there's a subclass feature, I would just simply go to the older book and take them. They're probably almost always at the same levels, like 6, 10, and something. It may need some adjusting, but it's still possible to create the characters from the old ones. It looks like Sova. I'm not sure. But yeah, handsome elf, I suppose. And look, something not in the spirit of handsome, but in the spirit of because there's a rabbit here. Yeah. So this is it. Also, Gulher had a question: would Alastor count as a fiend patron? Do we have a deal? So Alastor from Handbook Hotel. I think I'm not sure if fiend is appropriate. I mean, it's all kind of devilishly, devil vibes all around in Handbook Hotel. But I think that Alastor is something else. I'm not sure if he calls himself Radio Demon, right? I think so. So maybe not fiend in particular. Unless, wait, do fiends always are referring to devils in the warlock class, or is it also with the demons? I'm not sure. But yeah, like he would be a patron, definitely. Can you ever create your own subclass, or is it mostly in line with what's in the books? Great question. So we have of course the things that are printed in the books, the classes that we have in the books, the subclasses that are in the books. either in those books or in the other books. But at the very end, Dungeons and Dragons is a game of imagination. So as long as you have an idea and you want to create some specific subclass for your character, because you don't find anything else that will accurately represent what you want to create, you can create it. It requires a good knowledge of the game to balance it properly. Or you can just inspire yourself with what people created online, for example. It's called homebrew content in general. So that things that are not officially printed, but someone has come up with an idea and just put it on the internet. It's like, hey, this is my idea for a subclass. Maybe you can check it out, right? So to give you a very specific example, like let's say I want to play Elsa, right? I want to play Elsa from Frozen, right? Elsa would not be a wizard because wizard is associated with learning magic with the books, right? She would probably be a sorcerer instead, right? If I go to a sorcerer chapter here earlier in the book, I will note that there is a like a draconic sorcery, for example, not very Elsa, right? Because no, wild magic sorcery. Not in that case. Elsa did not have a lot of control over her magic, but I would not say that the wild magic applies here. Clockwork sorcery. That's the about channeling cosmic forces of order. So definitely not something in here. And there is also aberrant sorcery, which is about the wield unnatural psionic power. So again, there isn't a sorcerer that would be like something like Elsa to have ice magic, right? So I would have to homebrew, and yes, this is a cute term. This is a cute term. So I would have to homebrew some sort of an ice sorcerer, so that I can do probably something related to having a minion, because she had this little snowman dude. Probably something related to building castles. I don't know. And I don't know, conjuring or having a water horse if we're going Frozen 2 as well. So yeah. To answer your question, Kalapati, usually you probably go with the books, but like I'm saying, this is the key. It is the game of imagination, and it's entirely possible to do whatever you want. Gulhar is saying there are Frost Ice homebrew ideas on the net, no problems. Yeah, like for example, there was a in the 5th edition there is a druid. Wildfire druid, right? So it's related to fire and the cycle of how fire burns the forest, but after that some new life can grow, so it's like this very interesting take on the druid. Rather than preserve nature, it's that allow it to evolve out to go forward. There's a fire druid, let's say it like that, but there isn't the ice druid, right? Technically, so you'd have to change the flavor a little bit, change maybe some skills, not summon a fire elemental thingy, but like an ice elemental thingy, and you would be very well set to play such a character. Prain showed the Sova wizard. I'll send it to Burp. Okay, Sova wizard. Sova wizard. That's sorcerer. That's warlock. Alastor used to be human. Okay, if Alastor used to be human, then I know his whole story. All right. Okay, wizard, come on. That is Sova. Yeah, I actually now that I see now I see the resemblance. Now I know what you're coming from. So yeah, feel free near model to grab it. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. All right. I see, that's really interesting. There's so much creative freedom within this. I love it. Yes, so Dungeons and Dragons. The books are like, you know this quote from the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? That Barbossa tells Elizabeth Swann that the code is more like guidelines rather than regular rules, right? So the books are like guidelines. They provide you with a framework of the game which you play and with the basic set of rules. But the rule of fun is very important, right? So if a rule of fun, the rule of cool, right? So this is something to remember. As long as your fellow players at the table are agreeing to something, or like your GM in particular, the GM is the final arbiter of all that is happening during the game. So if it's fine, if it's progressing the story, I think that the GM will always be into like changing some stuff, bending some rules, because I'm going to give you an example. There was a campaign in which we were fighting against some goblins. I don't know, like some goblins. One of our characters had a horse, right? And the idea was that there were goblins across the. Let me put it like this. Yeah. Okay. Here are we, and here's the goblins, right? Here's the dude on the horse. And wait, actually, I can do it better. So those are the goblins, right? Those are the goblins, and those are us, and that's the horse, right? And there was also a wall here. Yeah, it's important because wall will be important later. And the idea was, okay, I want to attack the goblins or something like this. Okay, but they're too far away for your horse to attack or whatever. And the player asks, can I make some sort of a check? So a roll of a dice. Can I make some sort of a check to see if I can reach the goblins over the passage here? And the GM was like, okay, let's try it. Maybe it's gonna be a good roll. Maybe it's gonna be a bad roll. Definitely, you are allowed to try, right? So the player rolls, and the player rolls a very high score, the maximum score, the 20 on the 20-sided dice. So it's called a critical hit or a critical result. And the following narration that happened from this was basically, all right, so you ran with your horse, your horse is charging here, and because you're also high on your acrobatics check or whatever, your horse is actually jumps at the wall and bounces off the wall and does a backflip or something like this, and then crashes the goblin underneath, right? And the goblin's like, down, I die, blah, blah, blah. Right? So that's why rules are are something that creates a framework for you, but it's not something that is something that should rule your entire day. I suppose it's always fun to just do something crazy, because those are the moments that you will remember for days to come. Those are the moments that you will share with your friends, and just like I'm doing right now. Those are the things that actually happen in some wacky campaigns, and yeah, there's nothing bad about this. I'm back from the grave. Welcome back from the grave. We're gonna see. Kalpat is saying, I think I'll check D&D out more. It seems like something I'd really enjoy. If you are looking for a way to learn D&D a little bit, you can try with Baldur's Gate 3. And Baldur's Gate 3 is based on the 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. So actually not the 2024 reprint, but the 2014 rules that are still very, very good. Plus some changes so that make it a more video game-like. But it would familiarize you with the basic concepts of rolling the dice, of developing your characters and leveling up and stuff like this, and scores, skills, etc. So Baldur's Gate 3 would be a good entry point, and I think it has served as an entry point for many people because basically during the pandemic years, there was one point that actually brought D&D, even before the pandemic, I think, brought the D&D from the cellar kind of into the open. It's no longer a very, very like a nerdy super hobby. I mean, it is nerdy, okay, it is nerdy, but it's not like exclusively to nerds, I suppose. And that was, of course, the excellent work that Critical Role did. So by this I mean all sorts of streaming or like shows that played D&D online, and you could just see how the players are interacting, how they are having fun at the table, and that's one thing that has opened up like the hobby to other people. And Baldur's Gate 3, I think, similarly does it very, very well, because it's like, hey, D&D can be fun. I can create a character. I can date a half-elf vampire, right? I think Stranger Things also made it popular. Yes, that's true. That's true. Stranger Things is also a very good example of that. And I think there was even Vecna in Stranger Things, one of the big bad villains of the D&D lore. All right. Nirmal is saying, or Magma Capybaras. Yes. There was an adventure that I ran, and in that adventure it was called Moonwish Manor, and the players were sons and daughters of a powerful elf wizard. Mr. Moonwish. And this wizard was dealing with elemental magic, and basically what the players had to do was to control the elementals. But it wasn't like a classic fire elemental, water elemental, air elemental. It was the combinations of those elementals. So it was a magma elemental, right? It was a dust elemental. It was a like storm elemental, right? But to make it even more fun, I decided that those elementals will take shape of animals, and thus a magma capybara came to life. That's a dust lion. Notabene just was killed by Gulharu in one turn. Came to be. There was a I think mud octopus, right? And not mud like crazy. It's like mud like muddy, you know. Water and earth. So that was it. Yeah, a lot of adventures. I came back and now you're leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving anywhere. No worries. Oh, fun! I've seen Gale. I think it was his name. It's big expensive, so I'm gonna wait for it on sale. Yeah, I mean, they haven't changed. I think the highest during their first anniversary, I think they went down like 10 or 15%. So it's definitely not a game that goes on sale very often or a lot. And for good reason, because it's an excellent game. It is really an excellent game, and much worth the money that you can invest in that. So yeah, when you have a chance, I highly recommend it. And if not, I'm gonna run some streams probably of Baldur's Gate 3 at some point. All right. All right, the next chapter. The next chapter is actually character origins. So if you're creating a D&D character, in the 5th edition, they decided to ask the players, okay, but what were you before you became a paladin, before you became a rogue, before you became an adventurer, you know? What was your thing that you were doing? Because no one is born a fighter, or no one is born a sorcerer or something like this. Maybe they're having a regular jobs like you and me, right? So, for example, maybe you were an acolyte of a temple. Maybe you are an artisan. Maybe you're just in some guild creating chairs, right? Maybe you were a farmer, right? Maybe you were a guard, guide, or merchant, something like this. And this allows you to mechanically, it gives you some skills and some feats and some equipment. And the idea was to just give additional layer of for your character, additional layer that can describe your character, you know, because if you think about it, a fighter is a fighter, right? But a fighter sailor, it's if I'm saying that I'm a fighter and I was a sailor, it probably creates the picture in your head of someone who is very swashbucklery and just swinging on the ropes and jumping from ship to ship, to board them, fighter sailor, right? But if I say I was a fighter, let's say acolyte, this is probably a temple guard of some sort. I was a temple guard for 5 years, but then the orcs have invaded. I'm not sure. I'm just saying orcs as a irregular villain here, but maybe orcs have invaded my city and I couldn't repel them, and now I am a paladin in the service of my god because I'm the last of my temple, And that's basically how that's the idea. What's something stupid someone rolled a natural 20 on? The example I was giving was actually that someone rolled a 20 when they wanted to jump with a horse across the ravine to defeat some goblins, and the natural 20 allowed them, via the rule of cool, allowed them to, bounce the horse off the wall and do a backflip with a horse and land on the goblin. I think that was something something along the lines. So yeah, but you never know. Oh, and that's a big change here in this book, in this edition. So races are renamed as species in this one, and they are actually moved, as you can see, to 186 page. So a lot later compared to Player's Handbook 2014, in which races were pretty much the second chapter after after creating the character, the 4 pages or whatever of creating the character. So the older edition were like, okay, you start as a dwarf, then you become a fighter or something like this. But in here, the idea is, okay, you start as a fighter, you are also a sailor, but who are you actually? Are you an Aasimar? Are you a Dragonborn? Are you something like this? Thank you, Kalapati, for the drink. I'm just gonna keep rolling them. All right. Goliath, Halfling, a lot of those. Yeah, actually, Goliath was not in the original book. in the 2014 edition, so it was moved as a canon race. And similarly, Aasimar was moved as a well, canon. They've always been canon, right? But canon in the sense of it is an official print in the 2024. All right. So yeah, what do I have here? What do I have here? Some tieflings. Oh, I think that's a big one. I think that's a big one. Those of you who are looking at this will know why, if you know the previous editions. The idea was that in Player's Handbook 2014, if I go to the Tiefling chapter, right? Let me just go to a Tiefling chapter. I think there should be something like this. Mm, 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 it's about the skin color, actually. So the book in 2014 says their skin tones cover the full range of human coloration, but also include various shades of red. Full scale of human coloration, all right? So we know what kind of humans we can have, and all shades of red. Meanwhile, the picture is a kind of purplish, right? And that was actually a debate in the early days, like, can tieflings have different colors, right? Because people are like, okay, but I don't want to be a red tiefling, I want to be a blue tiefling because blue is cool, right? So I'm glad that there's the official like art here stating that there's a blue one, there's a red one, there's a green one, all sorts of those. Abyssal tiefling anywhere? No, in this one we have we actually have abyssal, and abyssal is this one. This one is described as abyssal. Also, there was a snack from me from King of Scotland, Macbeth. I'm just gonna grab the snack and I'm just let you enjoy. Look at this. All right, such pretty tieflings. Yes, tieflings are very pretty. You know what? I'm gonna take the snack away so that I don't have crumbs all over it. So I'm gonna move myself a little bit. Thank you very much. All right. What else do I have? So tieflings are here, and then there's a feat chapter. There's a chapter about feats, so special kind of skills or like features that your character get at some point. For example, maybe you are a healer. You are very good at healing people. Maybe you are skilled at something. Maybe you're a musician, right? So it is this. I'm pretty sure tieflings have always had different skin tones. There are already some in second edition in Plain Skin Tournament, for example. Yeah, like rules are as intended, probably yes, but rules as written in the book, in this book, it was specified that human coloration and shades of red. So there was no written trace of having something else than red. And you know how it is with rule lawyers and just people who are enjoying taking things very, very literally. It's important to actually read into the rules, absolutely. But that's why I mentioned it, because there was a debate, let's say, whether tieflings can be different color. Of course they can. Like I said, it's a game of imagination. The idea was that I think in the player's handbook, the Dragonborn characters do not have a tail. I think it is specified that they do not have a tail. And one of my friends was very, very sad that her character couldn't have a tail because the book said so for whatever reason. It doesn't matter why. It was specified that Dragonborn does not have a tail. But I think in the end we decided, yes, just have a tail. It's gonna be fun. Why not? Oh, that's interesting. That's actually Lord of Blades. This is a character from Eberron. So it's nice to see content from something else than Faerun being presented in the player's handbook. We can see Lord of Blades here, and we can see the House Lyrandar airship actually on this side. So that's nice, and of course a bunch of Warforged and other stuff. No artificer. Yeah, there is no artificer. You're correct. You're correct that this gnome named V or Vi is technically a gnome artificer. I think if I were to go to another book, there is definitely a picture of her with a note like gnome artificer V is like or Vi is doing something. So it's funny that she is pictured here with a gun because why not? But there isn't actually a class of artificer in this one. Yeah. All right. Equipment. So there's of course a table of all the weapons. What is very cool in this edition is that they actually really wanted to make melee fighters interesting, melee fighting interesting, because now every weapon has associated mastery, and those masteries basically are allowing you to have like an extra skill on a weapon, kind of. Imagine Baldur's Gate 3 approach actually. If you are proficient with a weapon in there, you can use the special attack that is associated with that particular weapon. In this case, it's like, for example, if you are proficient with, let's say, halberd, right? Or like, yeah, halberd. Yeah, you have the cleave action, and cleave says that if you hit someone with a melee attack, you can make another melee attack against another creature that is 5 feet to the first one. Yeah, makes sense. You cleave something if you attack it like this. So those are the options that were not included for any sort of melee fighter in the original handbook, but now it's doing this. Not looking at what she's shooting. No wonder she's hitting the stars. It's the stairs. Yeah. If I go back here. Yeah. She's running away. She's just posing for the camera here, right? She's posing for the camera and just pew pew pew, not hitting anything in particular. Well observed, Almari. Well observed. All right. What else we have? That's very cool. That's very cool because every melee weapon has actually a picture here. I think it's every melee weapon that is that's allowed. Right? I remember that when I first saw the player's handbook, right? Let's see. I think the player's handbook in the third edition, it was chapter 7, equipment, right? So in here, we actually had that. I'm gonna turn the book so that you can see it better. We actually had already the pictures of the weapons, right? But it was all black and white. But I remember that it was very exciting for me to look at the different pictures. You know, this is a great axe. This is like a halberd. This is a trident. Blah blah. You know, learning about what's the difference between the great sword and the bastard sword and the long sword. You know, yeah, that was very cool for 11-year-old me or something like this. I think in the 2014 they did not make it that a good job, right? Yeah, it's rather minimalistic. So it was just a couple of pictures on the sides rather than a decoration, I would say, rather than accurate representation of the weapon, right? Then we only had the equipment. Yeah, there was equipment. So this is really cool here, and I think it explains why the book is like 380 pages long. Because after the weapons, you of course have the armor, also in full color. You know, you can see what is the difference between chainmail, splint armor, ringmail. You know, you can get the idea of how your character will look like. Maybe if you're an artist and you want to draw your character, let's say that you're going into D&D. Okay, I want to play a paladin. Let's say I want to have a breastplate, but how does breastplate look like? You can go to Pinterest and check out the breastplate pictures, but you also have this, to get a starting point. I think that's very good. Making screenshots right now. No worries. When you come by, you can just take regular photos of the book. No worries. So yeah, this probably can be helpful. Tools are a thing that is also existing in D&D, and in this 2024 edition, they actually improved on the the sense of tools, right? Because now tools are related to crafting. That wasn't the really case in the previous edition, but now if you are proficient, that means if you can use certain tools, you can actually craft certain things, and those things are already listed. You don't have to wonder what can I craft if I have alchemist supplies proficiency, right? It's actually listed. You can create acid, alchemist fire, component pouch, oil, paper, and perfume. Very cool. You can craft perfume during your adventure. Why not? And then spray those perfumes at some goblins, and then the goblins will never sneak up on you. So that's actually new. There's adventuring gear. So all the stuff that you can get: bedroll, basket, barrel, caltrops, some basic equipment, services, rules related to crafting equipment. Actually, rules related to crafting spell scrolls as well. Oh, there are some characters from the lore. That's Ilarzi, Morden Kanan, and Bigby. Modern Canaan is the probably most known, out of these three. And then there's a chapter about spells, right? There's a chapter about spells, describing how they work. And then there's like a list of all the spells, right? Described in a very nice way. I think what I want to showcase here is that if I were to go to, like, let's say this spell, right? Augury. It says a level 2 divination, but it adds that the cleric, druid, and wizard can use it, right? So it lists the classes that can use it. I don't think that was the case in the older edition, right? If I were to go, if I were to go to the same spell, so that we're proper here, right? If I were to go to Augury, where is it? Yeah, if I were to go to Augury, which is actually right here, I can't show it because it's on the bottom of the page. It just says that it's a second level divination, it's a ritual, but it doesn't say what kind of classes it has. So I think if someone is reading through the spells, and let's say I'm a bard, right? So it's gonna be easy for me to just navigate and like, oh, this is not the bard spell, not the bard spell, not the bard spell, not the bard spell. Oh, this is the bard spell, awaken. Okay, what does it do? Yeah, that's probably very nice way of navigating this book. I'm gonna just scroll over the pages for the spells. Every now and then there is, of course, a nice picture. That's very nice. What's that? Oh, okay. In here we can say a dragonborn druid uses entangle to stop rampaging gnolls. For a moment I thought that was a hyena from Lion King, kind of like this. Break time? Oh, break time. Yeah, we're almost at the end of the book, so I'm gonna go over the book. Then we're gonna do a break, and then we're gonna, I'm gonna set up the camera back so that we can have we can go to Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, what's that? It's an owl! God damn it! There's an owl here. Everybody drop everything. It's an owl. It's a find familiar spell actually, but you can have an owl, and it has a hat. It has a hat, and it has like a coat or collar, whatever. Owl. Almaril. There's an owl here. Alright, I see that you're using the hood command. Remember that the hood command is spawning a GIF, but of an owl, but not on this setup. So check it out later if you wish. There are owls in this book. Best book, confirmed. Alright, what else? We have this. We have this. Thank you very much for the hoods, guys. I still haven't fixed the thingy in which the scribe bot is saying it twice instead of once. Worth every penny. Yeah, like I think here in Poland it was the equivalent of 35 euro, right? I think. Yeah, I think it was 35 euro when I bought it in like a pre-sale in the local store. I was on Gamescom actually, and it was about 50 euro there. And if it wasn't your model, I would probably buy it to have it 3 weeks earlier. But your model was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Brain. Be patient. And she was right. Now, I don't even know. I feel like Gamescom was yesterday anyway, so I don't feel that I have waited that long. All right. So yeah. Oh, look, there's a classic monster. There's a beholder. That's always nice. Alright, silent images, more pictures, yeah, a lot of those. And after the spell chapter, I believe, wait, those are the summon spells, no. So, stat blocks for things that you can summon. Summon Aberration, summon Beast, summon Celestial. Summon Construct even, wow. That's a new one. A little devil, if you want. See, you would miss unboxing? Yes, I would miss... What is this? It's almost 2 hours of content. I would miss 2 hours of content. Of making content here on Twitch. And here is the... you can maybe see her. It's the legendary witch Tasha. Using the spell Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron. And here is the Red Wizard. Actually, also the interesting thing from the D&D lore. And the Red Wizards were also featured in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. So, yeah. Alright. Spells. Oh, this guy. This guy has a crown of floating fishes. Mm-hmm. Halfling warlock. All right, something about the multiverse. So yeah, all the planes, creatures, stat blocks, bats. There's a cat. There's a cat. It was a plan all along. Yeah, yeah. You're very smart. Your plans are good. Crocodile. Hopefully, never finds. No, this is the official review of the product. You know, I'm allowed to say what I think about the product. I am not. I am not even giving you full pages of the book because I cannot set up my camera, right? So it's not like you can print screen everything and just get it in its entirety. I'm just sharing my impressions. So yeah, everything is cool here. Rules glossary, yeah. Plus, come on, I am such a huge D&D nerd that they should be paying me for saying about this, right? So they would just shoot themselves in the knee if someone wanted to take it down. Because during this stream, I actively made Kala interested in D&D stuff. So isn't that not a win? I think it is, right? So yeah. Come on, focus. Yeah. All right. Create heroic characters. Create heroic characters. So yeah, this is Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook 2024. You know, little review, I suppose, like first impressions. The retail price is in US dollars $49.99. The book is hardcover, 380 pages. I think between all of those, or between like especially the 2014 and 2024, I believe that the new one is better suited for newer players. Like, it is a perspective that I don't always have as someone who has been playing, you know, since very older editions. And for me, it doesn't matter if certain matters are in this chapter or the other chapter, because for me it's natural to just look over the books. But I understand the design behind of it. I understand why they made those choices to shuffle things around and made it maybe more accessible to newer players in particular. And I just hope that more people will get into that wonderful hobby. I highly recommend Dungeons and Dragons as a tabletop experience, tabletop game to anyone. What you need is a person who knows the rules a little bit better and can be the dungeon master, can be the game master, so that they can lead the character. There is of course available like a starter set. Every now and then they are releasing a starter set that has pre-made characters and a short adventure with some maps, maybe some shortened version of the rules, everything that you need to begin the game and get the dice rolling. So if you just into that, then definitely Dungeons and Dragons will take you into places that you will never thought exist, right? Because as usual as it happens, if you are a dungeon master, you're creating the adventure with some idea in mind, but then your players, I don't want to say that they are derailing it, but they are influencing it in a way that is such a wonderful adventure for both yourself, because they challenge the ideas that you put into the adventure. They have their unique twist on how to solve the problems that you put before them, and you're like, okay, I guess we're doing it. One example I can give is actually that was with Near Model and some other friends. We were running an adventure. That was about a cursed book. There was a cursed book, and because of that curse, they actually the players had to, on the skin, their skin was covered in like a kind of like a tattoo, but when they looked closely, it was just the words from the book. It was the story of some princess of the black glass, right? Some mythical fey creature, as they learned later. And the idea that I had for this adventure was, of course, to go over some trepidations, some challenges, and everything, and have this very nice, very cool fight at the end with the said princess of the black glass. I had like a map set up, I had the encounter from the book, and I have the ideas of how to have the summons and skills and everything, and that was going to be a very nice, high octane, high level fight, because the characters were there, I think, at 14th level or something like this. And that was the idea for the final fight. And during this adventure, they actually also met a ghost of a scribe, a ghost of a guy that actually wrote the curse, the book. And it turned out that this guy was kind of in love with that princess, but the princess didn't, never really wanted him, right? So those Muppets, by which I mean my players, they figured out that if the problem is the curse, ghost, book, those lines, then maybe they just have to unite the Princess of the Black Glass with the ghost so that the ghost can leave into the afterlife so that the curse will no longer have effect on them, right? And like do it without the fighting with the princess. So they were like, "Hey, princess, there's this thing. The scribe has written a book. The book is now cursed. You will never be free, and we will never be free unless you marry him, kind of, right? And because we have a high level cleric with us, or even paladin at this point, we can make a ceremony. So we can marry you to him. But it's not gonna last because the moment you marry him, he will be happy that you married him and he will disappear because that's a ghost. You know, the ghost was clinging to his one thought. And I was like, okay, you wanna do this, right? And they were like, yes, we wanna do it. And I was like, okay, so you marry the princess of the black glass with the ghost of the scribe. The ghost is happy, the ghost disappears, and the curse was gone. They lifted the curse in that original way that was not predicted by the book that I was basing the adventure on, not predicted by me. It was just something that they figured out themselves. And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing that. No more fighting, You don't need to fight the princess because the curse is gone. You can even befriend her right now if you want. They actually invited the princess later for the marriage ceremony that was happening between the two player characters, right? That's a different story. But yeah, like you never know. Like Nero was saying, you mean they never do what you plan. That's true. That's true. Okay. All right. That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of talking. I'm gonna just make sure that I'm gonna wrap this up. So yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. If you ever have any questions about Dungeons and Dragons, guys, I can talk about it forever. Do you know the memes? Do you know the memes of Henry Cavill? Actually, when there is a interview with Henry Cavill, and someone mentions Warhammer, right? Someone mentions Warhammer, and he instantly lights up. His eyes are sparking, and he's like into this entire nerd mode because he can talk hours and hours about his favorite army, that is, I believe, Custodes, right? And this is so precious because they're like, oh, so you're making this new movie? Oh yes, I'm making this new movie, and the movie is fun, and we should watch it. But you're also a fan of Warhammer. Yes, Warhammer. Yes, let's talk about Warhammer right now. So basically, that's a kind of my freak when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. Adventures. I've been playing the game for, the game has been in the market for 50 years, as it says here. I've been playing it for 20 something years. I suppose as a player, as a dungeon master, I'm still doing it actively, and I don't want this adventure to ever stop, right? So that's it. All right, who was your most annoying player as a DM? Most annoying player? Okay, in the past years, I was lucky to have the players who were really kind and understanding and everything. The most annoying player I met when I was in primary school. That was the first years in which we were playing like this. And in that adventure, my character had a wife and a daughter. And that other player was playing a very horny halfling rogue. And behind my back, kind of, this player asked the dungeon master if he can do certain things. I'm gonna leave it to your imagination. In regard to the family of my character, the immediate family, like I said, wife and a daughter. And the dungeon master agreed, right? And I was told, like, so you are waking up, some noises are wake you up during the night, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to investigate. And then again, I'm gonna leave it to your imagination how it went and how pissed I was that that actually happened, because it was not really fair, right? I think even it wasn't my character, but my character's associates, let's say, so family, right? It's still something I created for the game, and I felt that was kind of stomped on in that regard. But that was also the time when we were very young, so if something like this happened today, I'll be like, hey, dude, that's not cool. I don't want this to happen. Can we retcon that? Because that's really shitty of you, right? I'll be like this. But when you are a kid, emotions take over, and you hit a guy, and it's it's a different story. Okay, so yeah, that was the most annoying encounter I have. But like I say, over those 20 years, I think that's a single one, right? That was mostly like childish stuff rather than actually bad player at the works. The guy was a troll kind of, and he didn't play with us for long. So yeah, so that was it. Guys, a 5-minute break so that I can realign the camera and actually take the break, and then we can talk some more D&D while also playing Baldur's Gate. Thank you very much for being here so far.